Dirty Jersey, backyard superheroes alongside Cooley Rex.
I never learned to grow up to face reality, but that's just me. Nowhere to go in the streets and protest. On a road we're surrounded by madness. Can't see how this story ends. And now it's time to turn the pages. The world as we know it is falling apart. It breaks my heart. Extra, extra, read all about it. Heads in the sand, but you're never gonna drown it out. It's mass hysteria. No one to blame, I'm my own worst enemy. I'm in my own way, fighting against all our own self-interest. Happiness is $1 trillion business. Put your money where your mouth is. Gonna fake it till I make it. The world as we know it is falling apart. It breaks my heart. Extra, extra, read all about it. Heads in the sand, but you're never gonna drown it out. It's mass hysteria. Heads,
That's right, side to side.
heads,
That's right, let me see what you got now.
heads,
That's right, that's right.
heads.
When I was a teenager, I was told I was gonna be the first doctor. No green card meant no entry. If you was to be my pathfinder. System broke and them corrupt. See the injustice. That's why we go so high. Fire! Let's go.
The world as we know it is falling apart. It breaks my heart. Extra, extra, read all about it. Heads in the sand, but you're never gonna drown it out. It's mass hysteria.
In the building.
It's mass hysteria.
Dirty Jersey, shout out to all of the crews in the place.
It's mass hysteria.
Yeah, they jumping the bass and the horns in your face. Yeah, man. It's mass hysteria.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, what's up,
Hi.
Jess?
How's it going, Jess?
Good. Hey, it's Jess here with Skagazine, and I have Eric and Punk Rock Ryan, my co-host,
Hey.
here with me. We're gonna bring on our guest today, who is Tam Garcia. You probably know him from Backyard Superheroes or maybe some of his solo work. And yeah, we're gonna bring him in to talk about some things happening for the band.
What's up? How's it going? Thanks for having me.
No problem. Before we get started, we just wanted to catch up, talk about some shows we've been to recently, what we might have coming up. So, who
So,
wants to go
Jess,
first?
let's talk about your weekend. What the fuck did you do last weekend? Because I'm sure you want to talk about that.
It was
Anything
not
exciting?
ska. It was not ska at all, but it was the best weekend of my life. I saw Face to Face, who is my #1 band for almost 30 years now, do a triple crown at Broken Goblet, which you guys
Ooh.
all know Broken Goblet from Korean Fest, and that's like where I go to all my shows. Well, most
Which
of
is
them.
one hell of a place, and everybody should go to shows like that. What's coming up soon? K-Man's coming up soon, isn't it?
Amen
Dan?
is coming up with Stop the Presses, and who else is playing that show? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank.
Other people.
Other people, but
Other
Stop the
people.
Presses will be there, and so will K-Man.
And if
And then-
you haven't seen K-Man, you need to go. And if you don't go, you're messing up. So if
Yeah,
you were
and
in
it's-
get there.
It's an all-age show. We've been begging Broken Goblet to do all-age shows for what feels like an eternity, and we got a punk rock matinee on a Sunday a while back, but this is the first ska show that's all ages, and I'm really excited for it. So I hope it's a good turnout.
Then here will be my stump speech. Can I stump speech for a second?
Sure.
All right. If we in the scene, whether it's Philly or hey, Michigan from where we're at, want to have good shows and we want nice things, we actually have to show up for them. Like if we have these amazing shows and 4 people show up or 10 people show up, guess what happens?
We don't get
They
those
don't
shows
come
anymore.
back. They don't come back and see us again, right? Like, so if you want a scene, you got to actually be part of that fucking scene and show up for it. So that show should literally be sold out by now. So if you haven't got a ticket and you're in Philly and you can hear this, like buy a ticket because that is going to be one hell of a.
And you don't even have unless you have plans that you're committed to, you don't have an excuse.
What are your plans? What is better than ska?
And you can bring the kids. You don't need a sitter.
Bring the kids. There you go. All right.
How about you guys? What have you been doing, and what do you have coming up?
So I recently, last weekend was Big Boss Barbecue in Hamtramck, which is right outside of Detroit, and that was one hell of a show. So we had Dirty Notion, which is from Detroit, and probably the best set I've ever seen out of them. And I've seen them a few times at this point in time. Bad Assets were there. They're more of an oi band, and then we rounded it out. Killer Diller, which is a 14-piece like traditional ska band. If you haven't heard their album, listen to that album. Listen to EP2. You'll thank me for that. I promise you. And,
I have heard it, and I think it's very good, but I didn't realize they had that many members.
Yeah, 14 members. 14 members. That's why they can only. I've seen them play these small places, and they can still do it, which is amazing.
First time I saw him was at the Lager House, which is what, 20 square feet.
Is it that big? Is it that big?
It might not be.
I think they were going around the edges of that one, you know?
Yeah, dodging the trombone every 5 seconds.
Traders also played that night. So we had Jay Navarro and the Traders, which you guys saw at Croydon, right?
Yep.
Which is always an amazing set. And then the Crombies from Chicago finished out the night. So that thing went until like 1 a.m.
Wow.
And was quite the amazing show. I fell. Like I literally, so my story is I've learned that, and I learned this lesson often, I should not get high and go in a pit because I don't have the balance for that. So I fell on my knees that literally like I skinned my knees. Like I looked like an 8-year-old kid on like the school room. And like 3 of the band members like, you okay, man? Like after the show, but I'm okay. I learned my lesson. I won't do it again.
You ready to do it all over again?
I am. And also shout out to Mike from Smalls, who makes the best freaking barbecue in Michigan. So when Renegade Kitchen's going, go buy some barbecue, guys. And he is bringing Less Than Jake to this 300 capacity place here in a few months.
And
so
you're
if you
gonna
don't
miss
have tickets, you're out of luck. But it's going to be a blast.
You're gonna miss it because you're gonna be where?
I am going to be at Camp Punk. So speaking of shows that you must be at, like if you do not have a ticket to Camp Punk and you are somewhere like near that area or like a 4-hour radius, get a ticket. Like get a ticket. There's 30 bands.
Oh, there's way more than 30 bands, maybe like 50.
Like I made a list of the top 10 bands I can't nap during, right? And like you kept saying other bands. So my 10 list is like 25 now. So I will not be able to sleep at all that weekend. Ryan, you're there too, right? So we're all going to be there. Come say hi.
Sam, are you going to camp or have you been there?
I am not, and I don't believe that I have been.
Okay, well put that on your radar. It's not for this year, but for the future.
It's not too late, Sam.
I have a lot on my to-do list. It's tough running around keeping up with a little toddler. So I got a little tiny dictator I got to adhere to.
The good news with that is all kids under age 10 are free.
You can bring them.
I've been taking
Right.
this will be
Jess will babysit.
No.
I made that up. You don't want Jess to babysit at camp, I promise you.
Might wind up on stage with Ox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I babysit, your kid's going to be on stage.
All right. I think he was going to make his way up there regardless. He is his showmanship is just spectacular. So
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm taking notes from him. So it's I think it'll work itself out there. So all right, awesome.
If I can give one more shout out, next Thursday, shoot, I don't have the date, but it will be, so the Thursday, I believe this will be released by then. Otherwise, you can cut this out, because that's okay. But Boy Detective, Benny is our next guest. His band is playing the Lager House on Thursday. Somebody can look up the date because I'm not that talented. But
well, today's Thursday and it's 20th, so it must be the 27th.
So somewhere around there. That sounds good. 20. Thank you for the math skills. Thank you. But if you are in Michigan, get to the Lager House. You will not be disappointed. If you have never seen Boy Detective, you need to see Boy Detective. If you have seen Boy Detective, you need to see Boy Detective again. So we will enjoy talking to them next week. But in the meantime, see their show, please.
Right. I'll tell them to come out here, or I'll tell them next week when we talk to them.
Fair enough. Ooh, speaking of Boy Detective, one more. I got a news flash. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
For this one? This may not be known yet. So if you guys know the Van Ashes, I know 3 of us do, right?
Who doesn't know the Van Ashes?
You know Chris and Sarah? No, it's okay. It's
He
all
will,
right.
he will after Buffalo Ska Fest.
You will. You will. They do the most kick-ass backyard shows, and they are for they're usually for charity. This one coming up August 24th is it supports punk
rock saves lives.
Thank you. I drew a blank. And Food Not Class. I was going to put them together and be like Punk Not Class Food, and which would not make any sense. But anyways, August 24th, Boy Detective has just been added to that show, along with Killer Diller. Blacklist is on that one. I'm drawing a blank on a lot of the other bands. Oh, St. Thomas Boys Academy, we are working on, who will be a guest on this show at some point in time, will also be there. You are getting 8 of the best Detroit bands you can see for a $10 donation, and it's in a backyard, and there is a pool there. So if you get hot, you can jump in the pool.
So you're telling me I need to take a trip to Michigan?
If you are going to, please, August 24th is the day to be with us. And if you are in Michigan, don't miss it, seriously. I will stop rambling and let the show go on now. Sorry.
Right.
Speaking of fundraising shows, that's how I was working on pretty much all day today. It was getting one set up for the Broadway Theater here in Mount Pleasant, trying to bring some ska and some punk rock from across Michigan, take advantage of the fact that I'm stuck right in the middle. But it'll make it easier for, I've been talking to Dance Contraption, which is a great ska band out of Grand Rapids, and some of our friends in Middle Out as well.
Fuck, that would be awesome. Let me know. I'll be there.
I probably won't.
But you will be. Seriously, Jess, the backyard show, think about that one.
We'll see.
All right. The Van Ashes let you stay at their place. You can stay at my place.
Okay.
Or your husband can stay at my place. You can stay at the Van Ashes place if you need a break. I don't know, but
I don't know if I want to leave you 2 together alone. I have no idea what kind of shit you guys would get into.
We might end up in jail. It might just fucking happen, but we'll see.
And don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Exactly. All right, let's get started. We're here with, is it Tam or Tam? I don't want to say your name wrong.
It's Tam. Tam.
Oh, so I was right.
Yep. It's fine. Honestly, it's a battle that I've been fighting my entire life. So it's wild. But honestly, that's the closest that anybody's at, as far as like not getting it, but you got it, so it doesn't really matter.
I get it, yeah. Is it short or
well, yeah, no, it was the cheapest vowel, and we really couldn't afford any more letters. So that's that was how that went down.
That's
no,
awesome.
no. Yeah, no, it's actually my parents got my name from a comic book, actually. So in the grand scheme of things, you know.
What comic book?
From ElfQuest, actually. Not many people know about it, but the people that do, they're just like, oh shit, that's wild.
So wasn't ElfQuest, was that Terry Tunes, or am I crazy?
I'll be honest with you.
I hear you.
Do not know.
Okay.
I do not know, but the comic, like the premise of it itself was pretty wild. Like, you know, it's just these, you know, it's a group of wolf riders that live in the forest, and they kind of just get forced out by mankind. They, you know, humans light the forest on fire, and it's just their journey through these different realms that they have to go through. And their chieftain, this guy Cutter, whose soul name is Tam, who I'm obviously I was named after. It's just like they're all their exploits and stuff, and it's pretty trippy. So it was a lot. It was pretty cool. I mean, it was rough growing up trying to explain it, but as I got older, like I lucked out. I could have been like Jughead or something. So it's pretty cool. Oh, we got a little visitor. Say hey, bud.
Hey,
What's
Say
up,
hi,
dude?
Tristan. Say hi. No.
Oh, I hear you're a little rock star.
What's up, dude?
Looks like he's ready for an elbow drop. I
Oh,
can see it coming.
It's coming. It's
for those who can't see right now, Tam is about to get beat up by his kid.
I'm
Watch
about
it
to
go
get a
down.
shoulder block. So hard. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Hey.
Take down. It's a takedown.
The kid is cute, but the kid is tough.
Get it. 1, 2, 3. All right, this is the winner. Ding, 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 ding.
Yay!
Right.
That body slam was one for the highlight reel.
Something about
It's
those
gonna-
curly haired kids, I'm telling you.
That's definitely going to be a contender for the Slammy Awards.
So now we have ska and wrestling, and people say that they're
It's the only true forms of art. So
exactly. So, and we have it here.
I'm about to. So I live in a little town, and do you guys remember what's his name? Violent J from Insane Clown Posse.
okay, yeah, Violent J, yeah.
Okay, thank you. He will be wrestling here next month.
Is
There
he
it is.
wrestling you? That would be great.
What'd you say?
Is he wrestling you?
That would not be good for anybody. Remember my story about me falling down at Smalls?
Yes.
So
All right, everybody.
what? We digress.
Everybody in the area, get your Fago ready.
That's
We all
right.
set.
All right, we're here to talk about Tam. So
Not my wrestling career. What the?
no, wrestling's boring to me.
We did say no sports. Sorry, Tim.
We did. We absolutely. Is that a sport?
That's
It's an
sports
art
entertainment. I believe that there's a difference.
All right, cool.
I'm not sure. So we can talk about this.
Can we add that on to the podcast? Ska and wrestling. I feel like there's an audience for that.
Oh, I think
feel
that's at least half the audience right there.
Yeah.
That's true.
We'll see. We might have to put a little promo up with an elbow drop happening on Tam.
It'll be like most local shows, tens of people.
Some people. I so rabbit trailed this. I am so sorry. Okay, so what were you talking about, Jess?
Well, I was saying that we were here to talk about Tam, not like wrestling or. But
Anything that we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes.
I mean, it's been fun, and we've actually found
Thanks,
out things. So Tam, we're here to this was initially going to be an episode all about backyard superheroes, but you've done more than just backyard superheroes, not to discount backyard superheroes. So we wanted to start from the beginning.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a musical slut. It's fine.
Yeah. How did you get started on being one of those?
Well, music has always been around in my family. My father was a drummer. My grandfather is still an active musician in Latin music. So music's just always been a factor. It was never not there. So that's just kind of how it all fell into everything. So, just growing up, elementary school, like being in the school band, school choir, just anything to keep me out of trouble. And, failed miserably at all of it. I still got into trouble, but music was always a constant. So that's just kind of how that always worked out.
So did you start out on the guitar? Have you played multiple instruments? How did this all go down?
Oh yeah, no, it was multiple instruments. Like I said, I mean, my dad was a drummer, so I was just following in the footsteps there. So like I wanted to play drums, but my mom hated it. it's loud.
I have a drummer.
And
Feel that?
Yep. Yeah, no, is a big fan of the drummers and drums and stuff. So we got his little rock band drum kit set up. I'm glad I kept on to that for all those years. But yeah, so I kept with drums, And when I got to middle school and high school, I realized that guitar players get girls. So that's just kind of totally purely selfish, all the wrong reasons. That's why I picked it up and just started running with it. But yeah, that's no humble beginnings. I was just like, I just wanted to get all the girls. That's all I wanted to do. And
Did it
then
work?
no, I'm in a ska band.
Wow.
No, that's not true.
I
That's
where
not
you
true.
made a wrong turn. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I live my life by Bugs Bunny. I made a wrong turn at Albuquerque. No, it's like I said, music has just always been there. And then playing guitar, it's just much more accessible. And drums are always there too. Chopsticks, spoons, whatever. I got that ADD energy, so
Okay.
we keep going there.
And it was not always ska, correct?
No, it wasn't always ska. It was honestly, it was everything. I'm one of those. I find things to like about everything that I'm listening to. I just think it's just better to go through life that way. Just like let me find the stuff that I like, and then just I'll change the things that I don't, and then make it work around that way. But like music influences. My father was big into Rush, and then like Led Zeppelin, and like a lot of those bands. But then he'd like Pantera, and like it's probably not cool to talk about it now because they find out about everybody's politics later on. Never meet your heroes. But
Yeah.
but it's just like metal, and then my mom was R&B and disco, and like I said, with my grandfather it was Cuban music in the house, so it's just standards, and then old jazz, and then stuff that you find along the way. And then growing up, I was early 2000s, so I was one of those new metal assholes for a little bit, unsufferable little mall metal kids.
And were you in a band that played new metal?
No, God, I was terrible at it. I wanted to be angsty and angry for so long, but I was just not good at it because like I'm funny now, but it was for the most part, like it was a pretty good childhood, like nothing to really complain about. But it's just some things just are corny when people do it because it's just not like a natural thing. And that's where I leaned towards reggae. And I grew up in Elizabeth, and it was more of an urban city, so it's just a lot of hip hop influence. So all of that just kind of melded together, and that's where I just kind of.
Is that where East Concrete is from?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm going to see them at the Starland Ballroom next 2 months from now. Yeah.
Nice. So, but yeah, so it was just kind of just like a whole big amalgamation. And then when I started playing guitar, and just naturally, you just kind of just gravitate. And I went towards reggae and soul and roots, and that's just kind of what naturally flowed out. So it was only going to be a matter of time until a ska band came my way, or I came towards a ska band. Objectively, that sounds terrible as a soundbite. And then I came. But we pick it up. So
Nice.
So
all of it is bad.
What was your first band?
My first band, well, I'll tell you, the first show that I ever went to was at the North Branch Firehouse. I was like 13 or 14 years old, and it was Knuckle Sandwich, SGR, Ugly Stick, and Thursday was actually just at the show selling merch. And that's like a running joke that my friends and I have had for the longest. We saw Thursday on Friday, and Saturday they were on MTV. And that's literally what happened. I'm like, didn't we just see those guys like yesterday? And then that's what it was. Understanding in a Car Crash was on MTV2, I think. Yes, it was MTV2. Fine at that point. But yeah, so there was that. But the first like ska band that I got into was I feel like just like a lot of people, it was Sublime was like the first like real introduction to what would be the gateway for if you want to go like trad ska and things like that. But that was just growing up, like that's what it was. It was what I got was just blowing up on the radio.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I get this. Like I can get down with that. And then just growing up, I was Bob Marley was big in our house, and then just like a lot of just like reggae, Toots and the Maytals, and it just kind of just spiraled from there and just delved and just snowballed.
And you played in a band called Garden State Line, was it?
Yes, that was my first, like, well, not my first venture, but yeah, that was like one of the longest running bands that I was in was Garden State Line.
Was that just,
Yeah.
did you guys play locally? Did you travel?
No, we toured. We drove out to LA. We went up and down the coast out in California. We played a couple spots in like the middle of the country. Um, but it was a lot of mostly, in on the East Coast stuff. We were the house band for the Stone Pony for like 4 or 5 years,
Oh, rad.
which is pretty. Yeah, it was really cool. It was honestly like it was a really awesome like time, and just being able to do and like play all these shows with like bands that I grew up and idolized, and just being able to play alongside with them was really cool. And also at the same time, like, just being in a band is very humbling. When you're on tour, like you'll have those shows where you're playing to hundreds of people, and then literally the next day you're playing, they got you wedged in between like a salad bar and the friggin the broom closet. So and you're playing to nobody, not even the sound guy's late for that show. So but it was a lot of fun. All of it's a lot of fun. That's why we do it.
All right. So here is a point in the podcast where
Oh.
we ask you to give us either talk about touring. Either we ask for your either oddest, weirdest, or most traumatic adventure touring. It could even be a local show that just you went to therapy for. So what do you got for us tonight, Tam?
Well, see, I'd see, and we were joking about that before, we started recording for the podcast. I just think it's all funny. But funny tour story is I was with Garden State Line, and we were driving across the country, and our drummer, he builds lowrider cars, so like the car hops and everything like that, all that stuff. So it's just we got this 20-foot trailer behind his truck that we're towing with his car that he's gonna hop in LA at this car show that they're doing there. And we're in New Mexico, the sun's going down, tumbleweeds are blown across the highway. It looks beautiful, and then like it gets really creepy as soon as it just like hits the mountains, because it gets dark real fast. So all of a sudden, it's something out of like a friggin' horror movie. You just hear pop, smoke comes out of the friggin' hood. We blew a head gasket, so we have to just coast. Luckily, coming up to a gas station, and like we're pulling in off this little ramp, and then you just see like the 9 just like hanging by one screw kind of thing. And it's like, all right. And then it goes from being like a really cool scenic thing, and it's just like, oh shit, like we're in the fucking Hills Have Eyes right now. Like this is wild. And I'm like the smallest dude in the band, and I'm like, I'm hungry, and I'm like a freaking idiot. Also, like I have the attention span of a goldfish, so I'm like completely oblivious to any kind of danger, problems, like whatever, like whatever, it's fine, it's cool, it's gonna work out. I hop out of the car and just run into the gas station, and as soon as I walk in, there is, and I, not even an exaggeration, there is a 6-foot gold-plated Jesus on a cross just in this gas station on an Indian reservation. And I'm
No
like,
way.
what? It's
No way.
like, what is going on?
You're saying the 6-foot Jesus makes it scary.
Oh, dude, no, it was just there. Everything was just so weird. It was just so weird. Like I walk in, like I have super long hair, I have crazy like pores, shaggy beard going on, and I look over and there's this dude behind the counter. I'm like, hey man, like our car, like I think it's smoking. Do you have like antifreeze or coolant? And this dude is just looking at me like, what? Like a dog that heard a weird sound from across the room, does like that weird head tilt thing, like, huh? And then like he looks at me, he looks at the golden Jesus, and then he looks at me again. I'm like, dude, do you have antifreeze? And he just keeps looking back and forth between the two of us. And I'm like, all right, like, okay. And I'm like, all right, let me just get out of this situation. And then my bass player comes in behind me, and he starts talking to the dude, and he's just getting he's getting nowhere with this guy also. I think this dude was just like a human statue at this point, but he was just like just gone. It's just like, what are you guys doing here? Like people don't come here. Like that was like the energy that was just crackling through all of us. Like, you're not supposed to be here. And again, me being completely oblivious to all of this, I'm like, oh, there's a Dairy Queen. Let me get some popcorn chicken. So like I'm there, I'm like, hello. And like this, like, pimply faced kid comes out from the back and the same thing. I'm like, hey man, can I get some popcorn chicken? And just blank stare, like just so weird. It's just very weird. I walk out, I just put like $10 on the thing. I'm like, can I just have chicken? And like I'm waiting like half an hour for this to come out. We're just stuck there. I'm like, guys, like we might die. So like I just climbed the top of the truck. I'm like, I'm gonna sit up here because I am the smallest person in this band at the time. And I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here because I'm the brownest dude in the band and I know how horror movies go. So like I'm not going down like that. I'm not going down. So you guys sort it all out. I'm staying right here. You can go, I'll be right back over there. You save that over there, man. But we ended up getting out of there, but it was definitely dicey for a few hours at this freaking gas station in the middle of fucking nowhere. So yeah,
So,
New Mexico, New
so
Mexico was New Mexico was wild.
So be
how
careful
For
when
that,
you stop in New
how'd you get
Mexico.
out?
yep. We we lucked out. Like our my drummer, he was Andrew. He's a mechanic, so he jimmied it enough to like get us to go where we needed to go. So we ended up making it to Vegas. And
Nice.
then his buddy had him, a workshop that he could just like do it and do what he had to do. Like I don't know anything about cars. Like they go forward when you hit the right pedal. And that's about the extent of my knowledge. But it was funny. And then on the way back, coming back home from toward New Mexico again, we blew out a tire and I'm asleep in the back seat of the car. And I totally missed this whole thing. I just wake up and then there's some dude who looks like freaking Scott Ian from Anthrax. And he's like, "Oh, your friends left you, man." And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? It was like a freaking that scene out of fucking Super Troopers, like, "You boys like Mexico?" It, again, I fly out of the friggin' the back of the truck and all the guys in the band are friggin' laughing their friggin' asses off. There's I'm like, fuck you guys. Seriously. But yeah, that was poor, piss poor storytelling. But you had to be there. It was quite the adventure. It was just one of those things that's gonna stick with me for forever because it was just honestly it was just the awkward silence between every bit of communication between these encounters that I had with these people in New Mexico. Just like hello and just nothing. Just gone. I'm like, oh, okay. So all of these, friggin' Hills Have Eyes movies that this is like based on this is a reality. It's not that far removed.
I don't
But
I don't think they serve you chicken though in that movie. I think that's about the only difference.
yeah, no, it's that chicken is actually somebody else's hand, probably. But I mean, honestly, like I'm not even sure what they gave me was chicken either. It could have just been like bringing rat shit that they scraped off the floor and threw it in the fryer. I have no idea. Who knows?
A
At
totally
that point in
off
time,
the
you
wall
take what
question.
you get. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to know, how do you think that story would be different if you were with Backyard Superheroes with the current members?
Uh, it would be we'd definitely be like a three-piece by that point. I'm sure like some people would have been sacrificed. Like we wouldn't have made it back. I don't think we would have been we wouldn't have made it back.
Would Gary have made it back?
I think so because he's got the best cardio out of everybody. He was he was a long distance. He was a cross country runner back in high school. So like he would have been okay. I would have been the first one dead because I would have just stopped running. I'm like, all right, I'm just not doing this.
That
All
is
right.
so me. I'd be like, I don't have the motivation to eat my brains. Let's get it over
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
I know
It's
you're
like
gonna
guys,
get in the end.
yeah, it's like, I mean, I'll make you work for it, but like I'm not running. I'm just too fucking tired. It's like I'm not a hero. I'm just exhausted and I'm just more exasperation than anything.
How'd you end up with the backyard superheroes? How'd you go from Garden State to backyard?
I've been friends with Gary, the saxophone player, since we were in sixth grade is when I met him, and it's been downhill ever since. Um, no, it's yeah, but that's it. Like honestly, like we've just been friends. Like in high school, we were in a ska, pops, punk ska band called Beam Me Up Scotty for a while with our our other vocalist Shelly. We were all in that band together at one point, and then it's just always the the door was always open. It was always like a revolving door kind of thing. So like we would play shows together with Garden State Line and Backyard Superheroes, and we just trade off like, hey, we got a show, you guys available, things like that. And then, I would fill in. I think I played every instrument aside from drums and any of the horns, but I filled in for guitar, filled in on bass, filled in the vocals for the Backyard Superheroes without being an official member of the band at any given point. So it's just, the fun, small revolving door world that is, being friends with musicians. Everybody's in everybody's band at one point.
Mhm.
So
so you joined them when? How many which albums have you been on?
this is actually the first album that I will officially be on as a creative partner and creative force on this record. I did a couple features on previous records. I was in their Netflix and Chill single for a hot minute, and then background vocals for a couple other records. But this is the first, contributing artistically on this record. So it's been really cool. It's been very exciting because it's as much as I'm in a ska band, but this is very much outside of my wheelhouse musically. So because this is more, punk, the pop punk influence, with Josh, who, everybody's background is more closer to that, where I'm more laid back and just I just want to bounce and groove. Everybody's, driving, which is cool. So it's forced me to be a different kind of player and learn how to do things differently, it's good. It's good to learn. Good to be.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just kind of going off on a tangent and just kind of slowly doing a little fade out on myself. I was like,
You're not the only newer member. You guys are at like your most members that you've ever been at, right?
yeah, I think where are we at? Ska band 45 people, I think. No, we've I think 9. I think we're at 9, 8 or
And
9.
you don't quite have Killer Diller covered yet.
No, at some point well, I mean, if you want to include the project that we had done that was done over the course of COVID with the NPCs project, I think that was basically most of the ska scene was involved in that project. Just anybody, anything to keep you from going full blown bad shit.
Is that what that song's about? We'll get into that later.
No, that song's about something else, but it's just funny that it's there.
So
yeah.
with so many members, how did working on this album go? Like, did everybody collaborate on it? Was it certain members that pulled most of the weight? Talk to us about
no. Well, yeah, no, this creative process was really cool. A lot of the record was done because these were older songs that had just been in the works for a while, and this got put on the back burner for whatever reason. A lot of it, by the time that I had joined the band, was kind of already, I want to say, at least halfway done with Josh and the staple members of the band by the time that I had joined. So it was basically just like running and self-sustaining at that point, I guess, if you wanted to say that. And then that's what it was. Everybody got input. For as many people that there are in this band, is very cool to be in a situation where everybody wants to be there. I guess I think that's like the best way to describe it. So like the energy was really cool. Like everybody was excited. It was fresh for, all us newbies that were there. It's like, all right, cool. Like we got this outlet, we got this focus, like let's get it done. And it was really cool to see how it's like, okay, like what's going to best serve this particular song that we're working on. And everybody had their inputs. Some ideas were cool, some things were not so cool, and by cool, it's like it just didn't work, and it was whatever the song calls for is like a phrase that got thrown around a lot during the writing and the recording process. So
and
it
you
was
up on the other side.
Yeah, we all made it. We all made it with 10 fingers and 10 toes, I think, for the most part. I haven't really counted everybody else's stuff, but we made it through, and we all still like each other after the fact, which is also pretty cool.
Bonus.
It's always a bonus because a lot of people can get salty and butthurt about a lot of stuff, but it was a lot of ego was checked at the door. I mean, there was definitely some moments where you know, it's the band is just a dysfunctional family that you get to choose, right? So, you know, we're definitely button heads, but there was a lot of you know, fuck you, we'll try again tomorrow. I still love you, but fuck you. Like I'll see you later. And then we come back to it and it's like, all right, cool. And I think this is a record that everybody's very proud of. I'm very proud to be a part of this record.
Yeah, I mean, knowing your other albums and getting the chance to hear this, I can totally see the growth.
Yes, it is very, it is, it's definitely a backyard superhero record, but it is somehow we grew up without growing up,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool to still be yourself, but you know, just be a better version. I guess that's what evolution is, right?
All right. This is the first album that you have on a label, right? With Jump Up.
Yes.
But important to point out that it was all DIY and recorded. Was it Josh's basement?
It was all mixed, recorded in Josh's basement, and then we sent it out to Dave Irish for mastering. And but yeah, like honestly, like everybody, like we really huge kudos to Josh on getting this done, because he was learning it was a learning experience in every aspect of everything for all of us, and for him, for recording. It was a huge undertaking, and you know, I can't tip my hat to him enough on like the record that we put out in a basement.
It sounds awesome. You can't tell it's in a basement. And God, I mean, his family had to listen to that. Like, is his basement soundproofed or?
Oh no, not at all. So it was cool. You know, I mean, we had his dogs and his cats down there, and you know, while we're recording stuff, and then you know, his wife is awesome. She's like, all right, cool. We'll take a break. We'll eat dinner. We'll watch some Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and then we'll get right back to work. And then that was it. So everybody was a trooper. It's
Great.
Totally like rabbit trailing. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is an amazing show.
It is phenomenal. It has no business being as good as it is.
Yes, I have watched it multiple times. Cadillac Bandit episodes are my favorites.
Those are great.
I also like the Halloween episodes, but
oh yeah, because it's always a caper. Always a caper.
It is. I digress.
Fantastic.
Well, it's good to hear that you guys had some service animals there to after somebody's feelings got hurt making the record.
Oh yeah, no, it was definitely it was much needed. It's much needed. No, there's a lot of support animals there. It was but it was good. It was cool. I joke about, you know, everybody being at each other's throats, but it really wasn't like that at all. It was just, you know, everybody's very passionate about their opinions and like what wants to be there. But it was also, like I said before, like egos were checked at the door. It's like, okay, this really isn't serving the song. Let's just move on to something else, and then we'll go to the next. And like it was doing it DIY gave us it afforded us a little bit of more time, you know, like if you go into like, you know, you're paying for studio sessions, so you're just like nervous and you just want to crank it out because it costs money. So, but we were able to like really give this record the attention that we, you know, how do I say this? It was,
You didn't rush through it.
yeah, we didn't. Yeah, exactly. We really had time to like kind of let it marinate, but we were still pushing to get, you know, aiming to get it done, because you can sit on a record for, you know, this wasn't going to be a Chinese democracy, you know, 25 years later.
How long of a process was it?
Yeah, I am not good with time. So I think, yeah, it was a while, probably like, I want to say from start to finish, I want to say like better part of a year, maybe a little bit longer.
Not too
But
bad.
like, no, not bad at all. But like really, like once the first domino fell, everything just kind of going that much faster. So it was more just like, okay, like who can get down there, what, and it's like, okay, let's just make it work. And you know, life happens, which is, you know, but we got it done.
And pretty soon we're seeing them live, because it's going to drop next week, and then
Yep.
Yeah.
June 28th, Mass Hysteria is our record release at the Debonair Music Hall in Teaneck, and the album will be available on platforms everywhere. I'm pretty sure that it'll be available everywhere.
Nice. I was able to see you guys play Mass Hysteria, the single at Broken Goblet. That song is a lot of fun, and you had featured Cooley Ranks on that, which was really cool. How did that come about?
It was really, we just reached out. I think, that was, a lot of the driving force behind this is Josh. And it was just like, hey, like, you want to do this? And it was, yeah. So they planned on a date. Cooley showed up a week early. And thankfully Josh was home that day. And he's like, all right, I guess we're going to record this now. And, we got, I think it's still really funny that we've got Cooley ranks on this friggin' record, which is pretty cool. So
I think it's awesome.
yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. We had him, and he came down. He was gracious enough to just come down for the music video that we shot for it at, at the Decibels Music Studio where we rehearse a lot. And, they're great down there too. So we got, fun video. It's going to be a fun track. It's going to be a fun record. Again, we're just very, very excited to get this out there for everybody to hear it. We're very, very proud of this record.
This record is literally phenomenal. Like I got a chance to listen to it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna listen to this. And like halfway through the first song, like I was just so into it. And I think to quote the first song, one of the lyrics is growing up is my virus, but music is my medicine. And I almost feel like that, like you've taken that as like it's a segue to theme of the album as we look at what the album is about. Like this is an album with purpose, I feel. And you can tell me I'm wrong and we'll edit this out later. But I feel like there's purpose to this album. Can you tell us if there is, or if I'm just stupid?
No, it's actually amazing how everything that you said was wrong. No. No, this is definitely no. We'll fix this in post. No, this record for sure is definitely a mental health record. There was a lot going on with everybody, everybody being in different spaces, obviously coming out of COVID and just everything that went along with that, and literally turn on the TV, open your phone, check your email. It's just dumpster fire after dumpster fire after dumpster fire. So this is definitely a mental health record. Like check in on your friends, check in on yourself kind of deal. Like, hey, it's rough, but we're gonna make it. It sucks out there, but we're gonna be all right as long as we stick together, kind of thing. And it is a record with purpose, and a lot of things. Some songs, even like as we were writing them, Josh and I came to a lot of epiphanies together. There's a song, Along for the Ride, where he had, his part of the lyric, his portion of the lyrics, and then I came in with my portion, and then we put them together, and we really sat down and we looked at what we were talking about. And it's just simple thing like, hey, like, where are you coming from? Like, what's your point of view coming from here? And it's, I'm coming from this perspective. I'm like, oh, like I'm coming from a totally different spot. Like, how can we make this meet in the mid? How do we meet in the middle? And that song is pretty interesting. And like listening, dialing into the different perspectives, like they form into, it's just, oh, I'm just, we're just along for the ride, to we're not just along for the ride. Like we're taking the reins here. We're taking control back, and we're, this is my life, and I'm steering. So that's one of the many themes and I guess devices that we use throughout this record is getting control back. Like, yes, like things are tough and it gets hard, but at the end of the day, like I said, like we're gonna be okay.
That is my favorite song on the album, by the way. I was telling the guys earlier, we talked about our favorite tracks.
One of the things I liked was that we all had a different favorite song. So I feel like that's kind of one of the great things about the record is it kind of speaks to everybody, no matter where you're at. Because we're all taking this from a different perspective, like you were saying. It's just nice that you guys were able to come together, and COVID was kind of a make or break for a lot of different people.
Hi. Yes, it yeah, it was, and it's, I think we kind of joke about that, and I feel like New Jersey is a representative of that. It's a little bit of something for everybody, and that's just New Jersey pride. A little bit. I'll just kind of go off on a little bit of a tangent there, but it's okay. You're okay? Yep. All right. I'm watching him practice his frog splashes on the pillow over here. Oh, that sounded like it hurt. But yeah, no, this record again, it's definitely something for everybody. And I think it speaks to a lot of different aspects. And even within songs, like it's a journey. Ooh, it's a journey for sure. So what's your favorite song? What's your
I
favorite
was,
song, punk rock, Ryan?
I was a fan of Antisocial Media.
That's a good one.
That
That
is a
is
good one.
Josh's. That is Josh's baby for sure. Ooh, ooh, you're on my wrist. Ow, you're on my
We
hand. I'm getting
go ahead.
attacked.
Yeah,
I'm getting attacked over here. Ah! Oh, sorry.
So like an hour before you came on, we were chatting, and I think each and every one of us like have a story about how we've struggled with our mental health. Like we have all had those moments like, hey, raise your hand if you're on anti-anxiety medicine right now, right? Like and we all raised our hand at some point. At least I did. Anyone else? Okay.
Yeah.
I just raised my hand. Very good. Thank you. I got a button. But but it is something like we all struggle with nowadays. And even as like I'm an old guy, so originally like in my like path with mental health, like originally you're like, I'm like, oh, these kids these days, like, and their mental health problems and yada yada. And then I started struggling and had a problem like, oh shit, this stuff is real. Like all of a sudden I'm the guy on the medicine and not wanting to leave my house. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
something that has helped me out a lot was music. Like We Are the Union had their self-care album, which really like I'm like, oh shit, somebody else understands. And I
Yeah.
feel like some of your songs on this album, like at least my dog thinks I'm cool and like Pick Me Up, like I hear those songs and I'm like, shit, like there's people out there who get what we're going through, and that's powerful for people. So like thank you guys for putting it out. And is this something that's been like personal to you? Like, have you had issues or have you struggled in the past or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think and like you said, I mean, it's I feel like I'm coming from the tail end of a generation where it was, mental health was just kind of frowned upon and it wasn't a thing that you talked about. And it really was just like, oh, it's that generation of man up and, just like rub some dirt on it, like move on and things like that. And it's like, okay, like you can, suppressing things is, sweeping it under the rug doesn't make it go away. And I've, personally, like having my son was a huge eye opener for me and things that I needed to address and change because I uh I want to be around for him as long as I can, and there was portions of my life where I wasn't so sure one how long I was going to be around or if I wanted to be around long at all. I tried to check out once or twice and the universe had other plans. My at my lowest, I was speeding down the highway at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would just let go of the steering wheel. I'm like, all right, whatever happens, happens. And my car never veered; it just kept going straight. So I was like, all right, I got to a red light. Hang on, bud. All right, show me. And it's like, okay, I got something I got to do, and he's here. So I'm struggling through a lot of things, but just clinical depression and things like that. And it's just there's no shame in asking for help. That's like a wild thing because everybody needs help. Nobody's self-made and no, whatever phrase and cliches you want to throw out there, but like no person is an island. Like it's you need the community, you need it. You can't lone wolf it. I mean, you can for like a minute, but at the end of the day, like you need to get high five. I need a high five, and they get frog splashed on. You know, do it, do it, do it. And then I get to see him playing drums and playing drums together.
Mhm.
Loving life. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can totally relate to that. I had my son young, but at that point in time, I really wasn't too concerned about what happened to me prior to. And after he was born, it definitely gave me a sense of purpose and kept things going.
Yeah, it's like it's weird. I mean, and not, it's, plenty of people that, don't want kids, and a lot of people shouldn't have kids. But it is weird. Like, you kind of get like, I always just equate it to like getting superpowers. It's like, oh wow, like this shit really doesn't matter, and you just kind of let it go. And then there's some stuff that does matter. There's a lot of things that do matter, and you gotta, yeah, it's like a turning point, like where this is where I make my stand. Like, all right, I'm gonna do this, but you gotta go. Yeah, yeah,
And you did.
you gotta go.
You just mentioned like we need help, and I was thinking about because that's how I think I started, and maybe most people start is like when you start struggling, like there's a little bit of shame, and you don't want to look for help. Like you're like, I can do this. I'm gonna quote you guys. I don't know who wrote it, but I'm gonna quote your lyrics. You ready?
Go for it.
All right. All right. It says, all my friends are gone. Everything is going wrong. Sick and tired of this game. Now I'm going home. Turn my back and I get myself out of this. I leave, never show my face. I tell myself this isn't me. I give myself a chance to breathe, take a step back and see the world is coming down on me. We're going down, down, down. We're going down, down, down. Somebody pick me up, down, down, down. I need a little pickup. And it's that cry for help I think we all need. Like there's that shame that like I can do this alone, but like we're not islands and we do need that help. And I think when you hear that and when you hear that in lyrics, like that's powerful. Like somebody can listen to this album and be like, "Oh fuck, I'm not alone. Like I need that pick me up. I need help." So like you guys are doing God's work. God bless it. Like this album is like bigger than just like, hey, it's a ska album. So like it really is huge. So everyone
Yeah.
needs to listen to this album seriously.
Agreed.
Thank you. I don't think we set out to, we just wanted to write a good record, and we were just wanted to just talk about the things that we were going through. And music has always been, like we it's said before, but music has always just been there, and music's always been that safe space. And that's why we lean towards art, whether it be, music or painting or dancing or singing or sculpting or anything, whatever gets that, whatever is inside of you out, whatever that release is, that's why we need it. You lean that, you go to it, because you find out that you're not alone. And jokingly, that is like halfway through, it was like we had like a little come to Jesus moment. It's like, oh shit, like this is a mental health record, I guess, that we're doing this. And we just wanted to just, this is, hey, I got an idea. This is what I'm bringing to the table. And everybody's just like, oh shit, like I've been there. Let's keep going. Let's keep going with that. And it wasn't anything at all. It's just like it's an organic thing, I guess. That's I get the best way that I can describe it. It's like, it wasn't, we're gonna try and do something here. It's just like, hey, like this is what we've got. This is, everybody sprinkles their nests on everything in this record. And that's music. I agree with you. Music for me has always been, I can't be the only person who feels like this. And if I am, then I need to write something down to let somebody else who feels like this know that they're not by themselves.
I think you guys definitely did that, and it definitely does take a community. I moved up to Gladwin, which is in the middle of nowhere, northern Michigan, and I completely lost my sense of community, 'cause it was this hour and a half from anywhere that I ever knew anybody that I was related to. And we were a bunch of liberals in a very small town conservative community, and just did not have anybody to relate to. So I went through a lot of, self isolation, not having anybody to connect with. And, you know, it is important that we talk about this stuff. You know, I grew up in that same generation where it was frowned upon. You know, you do things on your own and you can only count on yourself, and, you know, nobody wanted to talk about things.
Yep. So
Yeah, I think even to this day, you have to find the right people that you can talk to, because there are people out there that are still going to shame you, and they're not going to recognize your sickness because they can't see it. It's not physical. And there's still a lot of people out there that, you know, don't really think about mental health. We see it
yeah,
every day.
yeah, it's true. But you know, and then to that, like I think that there's two sides to every coin. You know, there's you know, since, you know, just like going through and like really like working on myself, I've come to the, you know, it's the phrase, you know, mental health isn't your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Mhm.
And I think that for me was like a huge like aha moment. And it's just like, okay, like, because, you know, it's not anything that you should be ashamed of. It's like anything else. It's like, okay, like make mistakes, just don't make the same one, because that's a choice now, you know? So there's a lot of stuff, and, you know, and like it's, you know, even while you're doing, you know, the work and the soul searching and, you know, how whatever, you know, buzzword you want to throw on it, um, you know, you've got to have that, you know, really honest moment with yourself and look yourself in the mirror, and it's just like, okay, like, yeah, a lot of stuff. I've been burned by a lot of things, but there's also, you know, it's not, how do I say this? I'm toxic too, you know? Like I've definitely been the fucking problem for a lot of stuff, as well as, you know, things being a problem for me, you know, and it's just like, I think that's where the shaming thing comes from. It's, you know, everybody's going through something. Everybody that you know, everybody that you see, everybody that you don't know is battling something. And a lot of the stuff is just projection. And that's been like a weird thing. And for me, and it's maybe not right, but I try not to take everything so personal. It's hard. It's hard, and I struggle with that. But it's just, you know, like you really just kind of sit back and remember, it's like, okay, like, are you, again, just a lesson, just like with being a parent, and just like, okay, am I mad? Am I really mad at my son, or am I mad? What am I really angry at? Am I angry at something that happened 2 hours ago, and now I have a way to just vent, and like he's just going to be my proverbial like kind of punching bag. So it's like, okay, let me just like check myself. All right, here we go. All right, and then you just kind of just try and be better than yesterday. You know, and that's all you can do. So
Yeah, it's something we should all strive for. I had to do a lot of that coming onto COVID. I feel like we were kind of talking about it a little bit earlier, but it brought everybody's character defects and, you know, all, you know, to the surface when you're stuck, isolated, you know, around the same people all day, every day.
yeah,
Um,
you
you
know,
know, see, a lot of people were making babies and a lot of people were breaking up, and it was one way or the other. It seems like for a lot of people.
yeah, yeah. You know, it's, I mean, like you said, it's like, what are you gonna do when you're sitting with yourself? You can either deal with it or keep pushing it off, I guess, you know, like while you're there. I guess work on your house or wherever you're
Yeah.
living at. You know, pick up crocheting or something, pick up a new hobby. But like that was also like one of those like silver lining things that happened in COVID too, right? Like there's one of those little beautiful things that happens like when shit gets really dark, is that people just kind of started leaning back into like, all right, I'm gonna do the work on myself. And like whatever the work is, like, oh, some people's like, I love gardening. That's your happy, you know, like that's your happy place. And that's your meditation, you know, like a lot of people found yoga or exercise or art, again, you know, just like what's your outlet, you know, and people just kind of leaned into that. It's like, okay, I'm just going to focus on what makes me happy. And I think a lot of things got better for it, as, you know, as difficult of a time as it was. Like, you know, things wouldn't be so bright if there weren't shadows. So I think You just got to look at it like at the, balance scale kind of thing. It's like, nothing's permanent. So everything will pass, like the good stuff will pass. The bad stuff is going to pass. Like, just got to keep moving forward, you know?
I feel like that's kind of the theme for Reach for the Sky. We've got a lot of fear inside ourselves, a lot of things we're worried about, but we can't give up.
Yeah. That was actually that was one of my songs that I wrote. The two that I have, well, the one and a half that I have on the record. But yeah, that was me, like my freak out moment of being a father. That was just dealing with that moment. Like it's the 30 seconds that they have. It's like, okay, like here's your son. They give me this little thing, and I'm holding it, and it's just like 30 seconds of absolute panic. Like, what the fuck have I done? Like, wait a minute, like what is gonna happen here? And it's just like, so like time gets really weird because so much happens. And it's really just fear, just like, fear of myself. Like, am I good enough to do this? Am I gonna break him? Or am I going to, there's literally a line. It's just like, okay, it's my chance to break this cycle. And like, okay, that's, I don't know if I'm a hero, but this is something that I must do. Like, I have to do this because, growing up, like I knew one thing for certain is that I wanted to be a father. Like, without a shadow of a doubt, that's the one thing I've always known is that I wanted to be a dad. And now I'm here and it's just like, oh shit, like I'm here. Like, what do I do? There's no rule book here. Um, and like that song just kind of just goes in and leans in to it, that a lot of people that I know who are parents and have heard me, play the song, like they relate to it a little bit, in some way, shape, or form. It's 1,000 people listen to a song and you got 1,000 different, interpretations of it, and 1,000 different reasons why people are singing it too. So I always think that that's kind of cool. But for me, for sure, it was the fear, and that's what life is about. Like, like you can't be brave if you're not afraid, right? And that's at the end of the song. Like, that's one of the lyrics is like, you can't feel awe if you don't have a soul, and you can't be brave if you're not fear, if you don't, if you don't have any fear. And I think that's true. It's like in life, you're just presented these situations that, it's like, you don't just have patience, you don't just have bravery, you don't just have courage. It's like, here is your chance to, everything that you're afraid of, here's your shot. What are you going to do? Are you going to go forward, or are you going to, step to the side? And there's no judgment, but it's just like, it's your chance. Like, okay, like what are you going to do? And you just make a choice. You just take a step.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite lines from the song. That's something I actually say on a regular basis is you can't be brave without if you're not afraid, and humility is not humiliating.
Exactly. Yes.
We gotta be able to admit that we're wrong and be able to learn from those mistakes. We don't keep doing the same thing. And I like that, breaking the cycle, because there's a lot of generational trauma that I feel like nobody's ever addressed or understood. We've got a country that's only 200 years old, but there's been a lot of shady things that have happened, to where we've got like a local Indian tribe that they just celebrated the anniversary of the closing of a boarding school where they had to attend to try to whitewash them of their culture and their heritage. And they went through a lot of hard things, and there were kids that died inside of that facility. And that trauma is carried on throughout the tribe over the last 50 years since it was shut down.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, and like that story, that is one instance out of hundreds and thousands of instances across this country that it's where things like that have happened. And it's true. It's just a lot of unaddressed trauma. And it does, I think, I agree. I think it does cycle down and kind of trickle down, I guess, if you want to just say it that way. It's still somebody decides like, okay, it stops here. And that's hard. It's hard. But
Uh,
yeah.
So you guys just released a video here for one of the other songs on the record. At least my dog thinks I'm cool.
Yep.
That's a great song. There's a lot of good points that you guys are making in there about anxiety and feeling isolated, but not feeling like there's anybody to turn to, anybody to go to. But we got our animals.
Yeah. It's you're right. It's like like you were saying before, like we were doing, we got our support animals, and it's you know our pets need love too. They're part of the family for sure. But yeah, this is definitely, this is a fun, like one of my personal favorite songs on the record is At Least My Dog Thinks I'm Cool. It's just a fun song to play, and I think it keeps the essence of backyard superheroes. It's fun. It's tongue in cheek. It's serious, but we're not taking ourselves too seriously. The message is there, but we're gonna have some fun with it. It's fuck it. At least my dog thinks I'm cool. Like whatever, it's cool. But yeah, and like along with that, like we have the video that we put together for this one. We just released it earlier this week, and on our Bandcamp, all proceeds, if you can download it and pay whatever you want for it, but all proceeds are going to the SPCA to help all those animals that are in shelters and things like that. It's like we got to take care of them.
It's also such a true song. So lyrically, does everyone feel this way? Self-esteem does not exist. I feel so trapped inside. Anxiety runs my life. Just keep your chin up and smile. Man, that's all I could do. It could always be worse. At least my dog thinks I'm cool. And I do know, like, back when I was like in the throes of anxiety, like when I was having like my moments, like I'd be like, oh God, at least I can go home to Opa. Opa's my dog. Like I can go home and like this dog's gonna jump on me and loves me unconditionally. Like it's a unique scenario, but like even in the throes of our anxiety, like we have, whether it's a pet or somebody we know who is our support person or animal, and that's an important message, really.
Yep. It's I'm coming. I live in I live in a cat house as a dog person, but we have an apartment, so I don't have my dog yet. But my wife was making fun of me. She's like, "Did you put our son in this music video as your pet?" And no, definitely not what I did. But yeah,
Maybe a little.
mostly a lot. But it's also, it's the video. It's just us living lives. These are our animals, and these are, like you were saying, this is our support. This is our tribe, our community. This, and at least they think we're cool,
Mhm.
and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. If you got one, you're good.
So true.
We were talking a little bit earlier about before the interview about feeling comfortable in our own skin, how it took some of us a little while to finally get to that point, but that's one great thing about pets is they love us no matter what.
Oh yeah,
Plus-
absolutely.
Plus maybe you don't
Absolutely.
feed them for a little bit.
Yep. But and it's like they're just wonderful teachers, and just they give you just these beautiful moments. I remember growing up, we had a dog. His name was Kane. He was a boxer, and I remember one night, like he would rip the gnarliest parts, like strip the paint off a Foot Locker. It was disgusting. But like one night, he's passed out in a living room on the floor, and he farted, and he woke himself up, and then he just stared at us. He's like, "What did you do? You are disgusting." Like if he could speak, like he would have been like, "Dude, that's fucking gross. Like get out of here." And then he walked out of the room. I'm like, "Dude, you just friggin' crop dusted the shit out of my family." in our living room right now. But they, and then again, they're just like, all right, cool, it's us. They love you no matter what. Yeah. So I just remember, you said that, I just remember that story. It was just funny to me.
I've always been a dog
Yeah.
person as well, but recently I just got a bearded dragon for my daughter, and that's been an interesting journey so far.
They're pretty cool though, like those little guys.
They're really cool, but they take a lot more care, and getting everything adjusted for the humidity and the temperature. It was a little bit more of a undertaking than what I could have realized.
Oh yeah, it's definitely it's my sister. She growing up like it was frogs, iguanas. She called them dragons up until she realized that dragons they're probably somewhere. I don't know, but it was. But yeah, man, freaking what a pain in the ass. They got the heat rock, and it's just like, dude, what are you doing, man? It's a lot of work. But yeah, I'm a dog person who lives with a cat who married a cat person, and that's how life works. Yeah. So again, I'm attention span of a goldfish. Sorry. What's happening? I'm in a band. Hi.
You sent us the lyrics to one more song. It was "Batshit Crazy." Was that anybody's personal experience during COVID? I had to ask.
Okay. So Batshit Crazy is older than some. That song is probably older than some of the people that like the band. Gary, Shelley, and I wrote that song together in our Beam Me Up Scotty days when we were in high school, and that was like an amalgamation of that song stemmed from having a crazy jealous ex-girlfriend, and it turned into having a crazy stalker, which there's a funny, not a funny story, but there's a story about that that it's too long to explain at this point. But it's again one of those tongue-in-cheek kind of things.
Hopefully,
But
that story isn't the prelude to the Hills Have Eyes story.
oh no,
That's
no,
what actually
definitely
happened
not.
to the car.
No, that was different. But no, batshit crazy was just again one of those tongue-in-cheek. Let's just make light of a actually much more serious situation than we could even comprehend. But yeah, yeah. So batshit crazy and like it was just it's about a stalker.
So does that mean some of the old other ideas that got turned down are going to be used for the next record?
Maybe if it fits for what we're where we're at that time, because there was definitely some new songs that were written that got pushed to the back burner for this record. That was like I had a couple songs that we were working on steadily, and it's just like what I think it's just too different for where we are, and it kind of takes away from the overall feel for this record. So maybe some older songs will get some new life breathed into them, with this new group of people. But we'll see, because moving forward for sure. But there's definitely some songs that feel like we got the right players to like kind of give them some good life again.
No, the ones that you chose to put on the album were obviously the right choices because it's an incredible album.
Thank you. Thank
What
you. We're
are
very proud of it.
What are your plans to promote the album? And you have any touring planned? What?
So come
Hello?
to
To Detroit,
If
is
we
that what you said?
I think before I was in the band, I think at some point there was a tour that wound up going through Detroit at some point. If I remember the history right, obviously, I wasn't part of the band, but I think there was a stop in Detroit. Maybe, can't rule anything out, but we do have
It'd be really hard to get the whole group together to tour. I mean, even
it.
locally, I think last time I saw you guys, Danielle was on the drums from Neon Times, and
Yep.
Gary was not there.
Yes. Also, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's got to be hard to get you all in the same room at the same time.
It is. Yeah. It's tough to get it's tough to get myself in a room sometimes. And then we gotta corral 9 other eight other spazzes into another point. But yeah, it's tough. But we do have a couple shows that I can talk about for sure. June 28th at the Debonair Music Hall. in Teaneck, New Jersey is our record release party. And, you know, that lineup it's going to be a very fun show. And we're very excited. We're going to have vinyl and pre-release stuff there for the record. Hopefully we'll have all that stuff in a row. We're going to be in Buffalo for the Buffalo Ska Fest on July 12th.
Yeah, I'll see you
And
there.
then, yeah, it's going to be a good time. We had a lot of fun last year, and the Pilfers are going to be on that show too. So maybe we'll get Cooley out there on stage with us too with Mass
maybe.
Hysteria.
Yeah, we
Maybe a
talked
little
about
bit,
that too.
right? It'd be weird, right? But you know, I can neither confirm nor deny that we're all going to be in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to be at the Mill Hill on July 26th, the day after my birthday. And we've got some more shows, things that I'm not sure if I can talk about yet, but we are going to be, you know.
There was one more announced already. The Mount Holly show.
Yes, Mount Holly on August 11th.
I'll be there.
We'll be there. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get my son there too. Have him
cool.
run around and
Him
beat
and
other
Ox
people
run
up.
around together. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, let him beat up some other people instead of me for a change.
We'll throw him
Yeah.
on Ox. He needs a little pizza.
But yep, so we've got that, and we got more shows that we're gonna be announcing as hello. Okay, I thought I lost you guys. We got more shows that we will be announcing as time goes and things are more solidified. But for now, these are definites that we can talk, that I am sure that I can talk about. You know, I'm sure I messed it up at some point.
I know
I'll
you
get text
got
messages
order
coming in.
vinyl out, but save some vinyl for Buffalo Ska Fest.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Make sure you bring that with you. What else? Is that it?
What else we got going on? No, we've got that. Like I said, we talked about the SPCA donations for My Dog Thinks I'm Cool that we're going to be running until the record release show. So you can get your stuff for that. We're on Bandcamp, Instagram. I think we have a TikTok, but a lot of us are over 30, so we don't really know how that works. I don't know how that works.
Over 30.
Some of us closer to 40.
The 40s are the best.
Oh, it's not.
Absolute best.
I'm having.
I don't know.
I'm having a great time. I'm not complaining about anything. What's that Death Cab for Cutie line? I can't wait to go gray. I'm counting them. I got 11 on one side and like 16 on the other.
Yeah.
So it's getting there.
So where can people send their money so they can own this album?
You can check out our website for sure. It's all of our links are on our socials, our social media. We got a link tree on our Instagram.
All right. Well, I guess we should go put that baby to bed.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be paying for this dearly.
Thank you so much for joining us, Tam. This was a fun time. I really appreciate you coming and talking to us and sharing your heart.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, please thank you guys for having me. It was very cool to be able to talk about the record like this and then just get to know you guys much better. So this is cool. So thank you again.
All right, everybody's gonna go out and buy the new Backyard Superheroes record.
I am.
Yep. Check it out for sure. It's like I said, it's a little something for everybody, and it's still a Backyard Superhero record for sure. But we're not alone. That's all. That's our message. We're not alone.
Love it.
Aliens exist.
Well, I don't know what to say. It seems like every single day I get